Hello and welcome to a special episode of my podcast all about knitting and crochet and my yarn shop here in Wiesbaden, Germany. I'm Kiko and today I want to talk about the first yarn that I got from the company Hobbii. And I'm sure a lot of you will know the company. They have a big online shop for yarn and everything you need for knitting and crochet. They also have a few real shops in northern Germany and probably in Denmark, but I don't really know. But their main focus is on the online shop because they say they want everybody to be able to get good and beautiful yarn. And they reached out to me and asked if I would talk about their yarn in my video. So I ordered some yarn from them that they sent to me free of charge. So they sponsored the video, I think is what you say. So this is the package that I received. It's packed in a plastic bag. I think the good side is that it's very little packaging and very light. Downside is it's plastic, but that's the way it is. And I just wanted to show you the yarn. Sorry for the noise. I wanted to show you the yarn before I start knitting and crocheting with it, just to talk to you about what the yarn is, and then I'll do a second part of the video where I have worked with the yarn and I can talk a little about that. So the first one that I chose is this rainbow bamboo yarn. It's 60% bamboo, 40% cotton, and it has 250 meters for 100 gram. And I chose this beautiful color because this is one of my favorite colors. And I chose to get 2 balls. Oh yeah, there we go. Because I want to knit a summer top for myself. I really like bamboo because it's, even though it's a man-made fiber, it's natural ingredients, so to say, and it's really soft. And I think with bamboo, it's even softer than if it's just cotton, and it's still a summer yarn. It's not too warm. So I'm really looking forward to knitting with this and to see how it works up. But the feeling is fantastic. It's really soft, and yeah, that's really nice. And then, oh, by the way, there's, I already looked inside, so that's how I know what's in there. I got sent these as extras. I hadn't ordered them, but these are 2 notebooks. Very nice spring-like look. And then some stitch markers with numbers on them. So that was really nice. And the next yarn that I want to show you is the rainbow 8-ply sock wool. And that's 75% wool, 25% polyamide, the way you usually have with sock yarn, and it has 210 meters for 100 gram. So it's like the 8-ply that Opal make, but it's solid colors. And with Opal, you only have the colorful yarns. So I thought it'd be nice to have those. I could be using them for contrasting heel and toes if I use colorful yarn for the rest of the sock. But you could also use them for some color work, either for socks or for a hat, or even a scarf or a cowl or mitts or something like that. So these are really nice colors. What else have we got? I ordered some cotton because, especially now in summer, cotton is a fantastic material to work with. And they have the rainbow, it's called Rainbow. And it's the 8/6 quality. I think that says something about how thick it is. It's 100% cotton, and I chose the rainbow pack. I think you can choose other color combinations, but I just love this classic rainbow. This yarn has 105 meters for 50 grams. So it's thicker than the Catania that I usually use a lot, and it's not as shiny, so it's probably not mercerized. Is that the word you use in English? I don't know, but I think it's perfect. You could make a summer top or pullover or something, but I think it's also perfect for doing dishcloths and pot holders and things like that. Yeah, fantastic colors, pure cotton. And then I picked a very luxurious yarn, and that's this one. Hobbii have a lot of yarns with color gradients, a lot of different materials, a lot of different color combinations, but this is the Dolce Cashmere. So it's 65% wool, 25% polyamide, and then 10% cashmere. And it's so soft. And I also thought that the color gradient is very subtle, and it's very, it's not as loud as the colors that I often use, but I really, really like the way that the light blue goes into this sort of jeans blue, never gets too dark. It gets a bit more light at the end again. That surprised me because I thought it would be one long color gradient, but still, I don't mind that at all. And it's so soft. And this is 770 meters for 200 grams. So I could either do a really nice shawl, maybe, or a scarf or something like that, or I could do maybe a top-down pullover without sleeves, so I don't have to cut the yarn. That's something that I'm thinking about, but we'll see. I haven't made a decision yet what I'm going to do with that. And then the last yarn that I chose is an acrylic yarn, and I'm not too big a fan of acrylic, but I can understand that for some instances it's good to have. I also have some acrylic yarn in my shop because if you work with beginners who want something that's more on the cheap side, if you want to make clothes for kids who grow out of them really quickly or who are really hard on their things and you want to be able to wash them in the machine, I think acrylic does have its place. And Hobbii have a lot of different acrylic yarns, so I thought it wouldn't be sensible to look at the yarns and not pick an acrylic yarn as well. And I wanted something special, so I chose the Universe yarn, and that's 98% acrylic and 2% polyester. Now, I'm not quite sure whether the polyester part is the sparkle part, but it's the sparkle is the reason I chose this yarn, and I picked two different colors. So this is a white gray color mix, and this is all the different blues and turquoise colors that I love so much. And what I also liked with this color is that the glitter bit is a blue glitter. It's so I love the silver glitter. I'm not too fond of gold glitter because I don't wear gold, but I love a silver glitter. But I also like the fact that this blue yarn has a blue glitter in it. I don't know what I'm going to make with these yet. Probably something like a shawl or a scarf, but I don't know. I have this has 462 meters for 100 grams. So yeah, that's something to work with. But I have to make up my mind. So I'm going to knit swatches with all of the yarns. Maybe I'll even knit something small like a dishcloth with the cotton, or maybe with the 8-ply sock yarn I might even do a little wrist warmer or something with color work. I'm not too sure yet. I'll work with it a bit, try it out, and then when I've done that, I will come back and tell you what my experience with the yarn was. Okay, see you then. Bye. And I'm back. Before I tell you all about the fun I had with trying out the yarns, let me just quickly tell you or show you that you can buy the yarn either on Hobbie's website. They have an online shop where you can see everything that they sell, or if you like doing things on your phone, there's also an app, Hobbii app, that you can download for free, and then you have you have the different things that you can shop. You can either buy the yarn or needles or whatever you like, and then if you see a yarn that you think is interesting, you can tap on it, and then you get a few more pictures of the yarn and also the color card. So with this yarn, there aren't too many colors, but still you can look at the different colors. And with some of the other yarns, there are really a whole lot of colors. Let me check out this one. Yeah, so this is a lot of colors, and then you can get more information about the colors, and then you get some more ideas which yarns you might also like if you like the other yarn, the way shops work. You can also get both through the app and on the web, in the web shop, lots and lots of patterns, a lot of them for free. Some you have to pay for, but then the money goes straight to the designers, which I think is a good idea. But to start with, you can check out all the free patterns that they have. And then there's also a bingo, a possibility to play bingo. So in Germany, it's always on a Tuesday, and you don't have to pay for it. You can just take part by showing up and signing in, and then you can either win some yarn or a voucher for the shop. Yeah, so just wanted to quickly mention that. But now to the things that I've knit and crocheted. I started with the cotton yarn that I showed you. I got this rainbow pack. So I had 10 different colors in the pack. And the first thing I crocheted is just a little, it looks a bit like a little coaster, but actually I want to put this up on the door of my kitchen here in my shop, because there is a sign that says private, but it's not really private because you have to go through there to get to the bathroom. And I don't want to rip the sign off because I'm worried that I'm going to break the door. So I thought I'll just put this on top of the sign, so I'll have something nice and colorful crocheted on that door. And yeah, and the yarn really worked up really nicely. I used 5 of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I used 6 of the 8 of the 10 colors. So that was really fun, and it was really good to work with. And one interesting thing about the yarn that I really liked is, so this is one of the colors I haven't used yet, and they have this easy start thing at the end of the yarn, and that's the bit that comes from the inside. So if I pull this through the ball band, you can see this is where I can use the yarn from the inside. And I think this is really helpful, because sometimes when I try to get to the inside start of the yarn, I pull out half the ball of yarn. So this really makes things a lot easier. And apart from doing this little round something, I also wanted to do a dishcloth. As I told you, I think it's a perfect yarn for dishcloths. So I went to the Hobbii website and I found a crochet pattern, a free pattern. I think it's called Side by Side dishcloth, but if you scroll through their dishcloths, you can find it. They use just one color, but I thought, as I have all the many colors in the pack, I want to use several colors. And I think the pattern in the pattern they use thinner yarn, because I cast on less stitches, and I still think it's a rather big dishcloth, but I like big dishcloths. So I crocheted 2 colors so far. I did 3 rows with each color, and I will probably add another 3 colors to get a nicely sized dishcloth. And the pattern is a bit like corner to corner crochet, but it's not done corner to corner. So you start with the chain, and it's sort of corner to corner crocheted in rows, if that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, go on their website, find the pattern. It's fun to do, and I think it's a perfect texture for a dishcloth. It's with the holes, I think it will dry a bit quicker than if it was too dense, and still it has a lot of structure, so you can wipe things and scrub things. I really like it. So that's what I did with the cotton yarn, and yeah, I still think it's the perfect yarn for something like dishcloths or towels. You could do pot holders, but then just choose a pattern with fewer holes. If this was bigger, this would be a perfect pot holder, because it's really dense and really tight, and no holes. But I also think a pullover out of that yarn would be nice too. I do like cotton pullovers for summer. Yeah, then the next thing, I think the next thing I showed you in the first part was the sock yarn. So I have this 8-ply sock yarn called Rainbow 8-ply sock wool. So they have lots of rainbow references, which I like. And I chose to just do a nice little bit of color work. So this could be the beginning of a sock, but I started doing some ribbing again. So I just want to use this as a little wrist warmer. So just this little bit. Sometimes if the jacket is a bit too short, or if I just get a little cold and I just want to keep my wrists warm, because that helps to keep the whole body warm. Yeah, I picked this pattern out of a book, and it shows that this yarn really works up nicely for color work, but you can also just use one color. Yeah, I like it. I used a 4.5mm needle. I'm a tight knitter, so that usually gives me a good dense fabric. So that's the sock yarn. Then, oh, I should have started with a bamboo yarn. I just realized that was the first thing I think I showed in the first part of the video, but it doesn't matter. So this is the rainbow bamboo. It's another rainbow in the name. So that's a bamboo yarn, and I did a swatch for the Wakairo top by Françoise from Roha Knits. And I've had this pattern for quite a while, and was never quite sure which yarn to use. And now I did a swatch with this yarn, and I'm really happy with it. After I started knitting, and when I read the pattern, I realized that this yarn is a bit too thick. So it comes out a bit bigger than it's supposed to. But I think if I just go for a smaller size and maybe use fewer stitches left and right of the pattern, because the pattern is supposed to run in the middle of the front, I should be able to tweak it so that I can still have the pattern but still make it fit me. I also realized that I don't really have enough yarn to make the oversized version that she gives in the pattern. So I'm thinking of either doing a more fitted and shorter version or ordering another ball of yarn. I'm not quite sure what to do there, but I really like the way what are they called? If you knit through the back loop, they are twisted. The twisted stitches show really nicely with this yarn, and then there's this bit of lace work and a bit of cables. So it's a pattern that sort of has everything, a bit of everything, and I really like it and look forward to knitting this top. This is the wrong side, so here you have the like normal stitches. Also looks nice, but not quite as interesting as the front. Yeah, so that's the bamboo yarn. Works up really nicely, and even though I had to twist the stitches and I had to cross the stitches, it's no problem working with the yarn. So that was that, and then I showed you the cashmere color gradient, soft, wonderful big ball of yarn. And there I just knit a classic swatch, just a typical swatch where I don't know what I want to do. So the yarn calls for a 3 to 4mm needle. As I'm a tight knitter, I usually start at the upper end of things. So I started off with a 4mm needle, and I knit this lower part with the 4mm needle, did a few rows of garter, then a few rows of seat stitch, and then a bit of stockinette with just a few purl bumps in between. And I like the way this looks and feels. It's fairly loose, I think. I think this would be perfect for a shawl or a scarf. For a shawl, I might even go up a needle size, but I thought it may be a bit too loose for a pullover if I decide to do like a top or a t-shirt kind of thing. So I went down a needle size and knit this up a bit with a 3.5mm needle. And what I like to do is I like to do a few garter ridges, could be just one. This time I did two, just to show where I changed the needle. So every time I have these garter ridges in my gauge swatch, I know this is a different needle size. I think you can tell that this is a bit tighter then the bit down here. If I decide to stay with this needle size, I will probably knit up a few more rows just to have more space to accurately measure my stitches. Yeah, and I might even try a few more patterns, but yeah, it's very nice to work with. It's a pleasure to feel it in your fingers, and I'm really looking forward to creating something beautiful out of this yarn. This is a very slow color gradient, and I decided to start from the outside for my gauge swatch, so it's just a very subtle change of color, but I really like that. And I decided to start to do the swatch from this end, because if I do a pullover, I want to start from the middle. I want to start with the light bit to have that around my neck, and then have it go darker as I go down. And if I should need this bit of yarn in the end, I will undo this and use it for the pullover. And if I don't need the whole thing, then I could just cut this off. Yeah, but we'll see. I still have to find a pattern. I still don't know what to do with this. Okay, and then the last yarn that I chose was the acrylic Universe yarn, and I did 2 swatches with my 2 different colors. And with the blue one, well, both of them I started doing a triangular shawl. I love triangular shawls, and sometimes I think if you have a really nice yarn, and with this you have the glitter and you have the different colors, you don't always need a lot of pattern. So I started 2 very simple triangles, and the simplest triangular shawl that I know of is to just cast on 5 colors, knit a row, and then always do a yarn over after the first stitch and before the last stitch, and before and after the middle stitch. You do those 4 yarn overs on the right side row, and then you just knit the wrong side row. And if you keep doing that, it'll just automatically turn into a triangle. It'll be really simple. So the yarn is the focus. You can only see a little bit of color change because I've only knit a little bit. And I also did 1 wrong side row of pearls just to give it a little more interest. And I used a very big needle. So this is just a swatch, and this is it's a 5mm needle, and the yarn calls for 3 to 3.5mm needle. But I think I could leave it like that. If I wanted a really loose and light and airy shawl, it'd be fine. I could block it so that it gets really big and really open. But I also could go down a needle size if I wanted the shawl a bit tighter, a bit yeah, less loose. I hope you know what I'm trying to say. So this is the one swatch, and then with the other, with the gray one, I also did a very simple triangle, but I crocheted it. So I used a 4mm needle for this. So this is it's a bit tighter than the blue one, but because of the granny pattern, so this is a granny triangle, it has holes anyway, so it doesn't have to be quite that loose. If I finished both of the triangles, the crochet one would be a lot smaller than the knit one, not only because of the smaller needle, but because crochet just eats up more yarn. On the other hand, I really like it because I used up more yarn with the crochet. You can already see more of a color change, but you can see that the colors get a lot darker as well. So I think this would be a perfect pattern just to show off the yarn and have something very neutral that I can basically wear with everything. Can have a bit of glitter in my day whenever I wear this. So yeah, I might actually finish this triangle just to see how far I get with the crochet. With the knitting, I'm pretty sure I'll get a good size, especially knit that loosely. But I might go for a different pattern for that yarn. But with the grey one, I'm seriously thinking of finishing this. Just a quick note with the for the stitch that I was crocheting. If you pause your crochet project, I find it a good idea to put a stitch marker into your stitch, and then even if you accidentally pull on the yarn, nothing happens. The other thing that you can do is you can just pull the the yarn through the loop, so it you can't undo it. But then I think sometimes it's a bit more fiddly to undo the whole thing, and with this stitch marker it's just very simple. Even if you pulled on it, you just pull on your stitch marker and you can go back to working on your project. So that was everything already. That was quick. Yeah, but I really enjoyed working with the yarns. I hope you enjoyed this video and you check out Hobbie's website and see what they have to offer, and maybe you can find some yarn for your next project. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!